Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join today and learn about our new feature called Project Files. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Jessica. I'm one of the co-founders at Part3. Before we started Part3, I used to work for a general contractor, and then I made the switch to working for architects for about 5 years before I co-founded Part3. So I thought I would share a story about when I was working for an architectural firm because it really lays the foundation of why this is a really important feature that we get out into Part3. So when I joined a project, I was joining an existing team. The project had been going on for about 2 years already. It was five condo towers in one big complex. And I joined, and obviously joining a project team that's already ongoing, you want to jump in and contribute right away. So first things first, where are the drawings? What is the latest set of drawings? And not a single person on that team could tell me what the latest was because there were thousands of sheets, so many different disciplines and consultants involved on that project. It was very frustrating for me, and it was frustrating for the existing team who had been there for that long working on a project, and they weren't quite sure what the latest drawings were that were sent out into the world. So on that note, let's talk about Project Files. I'm going to walk you through why we created it, how it works, and how it's changing the game for architects and people that are using Part3. So we'll do a demo, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll talk about what's next. So let's start with the big picture. Right now, architects are often sidelined in CA. The GC's tools like Procore, SharePoint, if they tell you they just want to use email, that ends up controlling the record of the project. And that creates risk and it puts a lot of challenges on the architect. So our vision with Part3 is simple but powerful. Let's put architects back in the driver's seat. Let's give you control of the set. Let's give you a single source of truth that ties directly how your projects are actually built. And the second step in our vision is automation. So by centralizing all of your drawings now, we're laying the groundwork for how AI can handle the busy work. So imagine submittals being cross-referenced automatically with the right drawing, instructions and changes are updated in your set automatically for you. That's fewer mistakes, faster revisions, faster answers to people, and less admin work for you to manage. One of our customers said more context equals fewer mistakes. And that's the foundation for automating CA, and it's what we are trying to do with Part3. So the future isn't just more control, it's less admin, a system that works for architects and not against them. And this isn't just today, it's the entire foundation of how this can work with AI, because that is the way software is going, not because it's trendy, but it's because it helps us be more efficient in the work that we're doing. So we're leveraging those tools. And by centralizing it and giving the context now, we're setting you up for a future where a lot of that admin work disappears and architects spend their time leading and not chasing documents and people. So to move one step closer to that, it's our shared vision of reducing the CA burden. So we're introducing project files. The reality today, drawings are scattered. It's nearly impossible to have a source of truth. And as I mentioned before, I came into a project already way underway. It was chaos. And I felt lost. I felt like I couldn't contribute to the team and I couldn't answer questions to the GC with confidence. There was over 500 architectural sheets and thousands of sheets overall because of all the different disciplines, like our disciplines, our consultants, third-party consultants. There's just so much going on in a really big project. So trying to figure out what's the latest is a real struggle. We struggled with it internally, and so did the GC. With documents moving so quickly on a project of that scale with thousands of RFIs, everything going on, it's impossible to stay on top of things. And I think in my experience and from some customers that I talked to, that relationship between an architect and a GC is very important. It just feels like naturally you go into an OAC meeting, on one side of the table is architects and on the other side of the table is the GC. You're almost set up to battle. So we're trying to arm you with that information in part 3 with everything, but now Project Files is bringing that extra step to it. And since we struggled with the latest, it really did slow down our file responses. You need to respond with confidence to the GC team. If you're walking on site with them and they ask you a question, you need to have that confidence because they will question it if you don't, and you'll question yourself, and it's very frustrating. Time is money, and it shouldn't involve a lot of chasing what is the latest and what does the project team have outside of your company, what has been issued to the world. So I'm sure everyone here knows how valuable billable hours are, and architects have very slim profit margins compared to every other discipline and especially the GCs. So every hour makes a difference. Since we started part 3, we knew that Project Files was going to be something that we built. Of course, we didn't have a name for the feature 5 years ago, but we knew it was where we wanted to go. That concept of having a centralized area for your drawings that is being updated automatically for you in part 3, that's the big impact that we knew we could have. And we hear from customers all the time how critical that document control is. And that applies especially to drawings. So building off of the latest, super critical. It sounds really simple. The concept of building off of the latest drawings that people have, sounds simple, and it's just not because of the size, the complexity, and the control and all the admin work that goes into figuring out what that is. So in part 3, we already have all of your documents in one place, and now we're enhancing that with the file center. And that's why we're here today. So we're going to introduce you to Project Files and what I felt I was missing on my projects. This feature centers on the concept of that centralized location for your drawings, and a lot of firms, as I've mentioned, struggle with this. So multiple versions of documents are created, and we all know how it goes. A101 final, A101 final R1, A101 official. But where's that real source of truth? And how are you keeping up with it? So this is your structured and version solution to that. Your project documents like instructions and changes are tied directly to your drawing sets for you automatically. So you just keep doing what you do in the background. The whole idea is that you're going through your workflows, you're going through the motions of everything, and we are taking that load for you. And that is the solution of Project Files. So the entire project team will also have access to this. Just like everything else in part 3 is very collaborative. So architects will own it. They have full control. Consultants are coming in, GCs are coming in, owners are coming in. Everyone has access to view those latest drawings, but you are controlling it. The GC is no longer that source of truth. You have complete control over what you say is the latest and what you are issuing. This feature is going to directly impact your team's performance, not only for your team, but it also impacts the success of the project. So why does it matter? Lots of different reasons. The main ones I'll talk about is speed. The faster you can issue documents, the less time wasted hunting and doing all that manual work. And being able to quickly reference your drawings and answer the questions, super critical, not only for documents you're responding to, but when you're speaking to people on site, you need to have those answers. Compliance, clear version control is really important for liability and disputes. When I was a CA, there's one project that really stands out in my mind, a field report I did that I will always remember because it was chaos. It was a commercial project that I was working on, and we had tenants. They were always changing. The requirements were changing. And so we had issued a change that turned into a change order. And it was to relocate a wall of an exit corridor. The corridor was becoming wider because of an occupancy change. But when I went to site, I realized that the GC had built, or the subcontractor had built the wall in the wrong location. It was like 2 feet away from where it had to be. It wasn't just a couple inches, it was pretty dramatic. And they never received the final drawings. They were working off of, we'll email the GC, they'll email the sub will print it off and give it to their people on site. It was really scattered and it was a mess. The communication was very poor. But ultimately, who's going to pay to relocate 200 feet of wall? That's a lot of money and a lot of time. So that chaos and lack of communication just leads to mistakes. And then adoption. The broader the team in part 3 with your daily workflows, with ProjectFiles, it becomes your go-to source of truth. That is where you have confidence that everything is the latest and the greatest. So as I mentioned, everyone has access. It's all in one place. There shouldn't be some things on the server, some things in part 3, some things that were emailed. It has to be centralized so you know everything about that project. And then ROI. Working more efficiently and leveraging all of the workflows in part 3 reduces all that time on admin tasks. So ProjectFiles links everything together, and it should be that go-to source. Everything is linking automatically for you. And then your return on investment is even higher. Now you have that full feature adoption across part 3. So now I'm going to jump into a demo. I want to show you how ProjectFiles works, the concept behind it, and where it's going. Okay, so this is part 3's landing page. As you know, you come in, this is a nice, fresh project. So the first thing I want to do is get my drawings in there. If I'm starting this off, this is my IFC set. I'm going to have this drawings tab here. And now I want to get things in. So I'm going to upload my sheets. I want to upload one combined set. And that is the idea here with part 3, is that we are taking care of all that for you. So I'm going to upload my structural IFC set. I'm just going to simply drag and drop that combined set that I got from my structural consultant. And then I'm going to pick the issue date. Maybe my title block says September 30th. And then I'm going to start the import. Now part 3 is taking over. We are looking at this combined PDF. We are splitting up all the pages, and we're using AI to figure out what is the name of the page, the title of the sheet number, and we are breaking all that out for you so that now you can actually have that full set of drawings in part 3. And then that's what's given you the foundation to work off of everything, your instructions, your changes, everything else that's going on in the background. So now you can see it's being pulled apart. I'm going to see all of my different sheets, and this is my opportunity to double check. Of course, we're using AI, but we want you to have that confidence and that ability to modify things before you import them. So I can see all of my drawings coming in. I can see all of my sheet numbers. And then when it's ready, I'm going to import them. And what that import function does is saying, okay, I'm happy with everything. Now I'm actually going to bring it into part 3, and I'm happy that this is my foundation. Now I'm bringing these drawings into part 3, and now I can start building off of them by issuing instructions or RFIs, lots of different ways that your documents and your drawings can be revised. Of course, depending on your workflow. Are you revising something with an RFI, or are you revising something through an instruction? So lots of different options for you there. So I'm going to jump into a project. We'll go cooking show style and just flip over here. So this is a project where I already have some documents issued. I have my drawing set imported. I have my architectural sheets, electrical, everything is here for me. I've gone through that. And now what I'm doing is simply going on with my day. I'm issuing instructions, I'm issuing changes, and all of this is keeping my set updated for me. I'm going to walk you through that flow. So let's say I'm going to create a site instruction, and this is for an exhaust fan relocation in the washrooms or something like that. My reason, this is all the standard things that you enter when you are creating a document in part 3, because we are automating those cover pages for you, and all we need is this basic information from you. So now I can create my instruction. I'm going to simply add my drawings here. So I know what I am changing, and I will just drag and drop all of my files in here, and then I'm good to go. So what we are doing at this point is you are telling us what you actually want to be updated. I'm going to enter my drawing numbers. And the thing that we really focus on is the number. Not so much the title. We just want to know your sheet number, and that's all we really need for you to be able to continue and use the tool. The issue date, same concept. Tell us what your issue date is based on your title block. So I'll say these are from today, and I'll upload them. I can add a description if I want. I could say, revised exhaust fan location, whatever. And then now I can see that I've added these drawings. I already have a few revisions for this one. So if I click in here, I can see all the different revisions that I had on this drawing. I originally uploaded them here and they've been referenced on SI1, SI2, and now I'm including it in SI3. So we're always going to give you that history trail of what happened on this drawing, just so that everyone has that clarity. I can also see it's in progress. It's not the latest yet. And I can do the same thing. As you know, if you're working in Part 3, your consultants can leverage the exact same tools as you. So they are coming in and they are adding their drawings, telling us what is being updated as well, so that you have that whole picture of what is changing on the project based on your instructions. And again, with their date, and then you're just going to upload and attach that. I can see I also have some revisions here. So every time you're adding a drawing, we are going to make sure that we're highlighting this information. When you issue it, this is where we want to know, are you sure these are the latest drawings? So for example, this is an instruction. I'm not adding any time or money, I'm just clarifying things. So yes, these can be the latest. If this is a proposed change and it's not been finalized yet, maybe I don't want to say it's the latest. And that's fine, because I don't want anyone to build off of this until I tell them to do it. So let's say I'm not going to mark this one as the latest, and I'll click continue. And now if someone came into this SI, they would know that these are the latest drawings that have been issued. And if I click here, I can go right into this drawing. Now I have this history on the right-hand side of what is going on with this drawing, when it was uploaded, and how many different revisions it has. I can always view the previous, and if I made a mistake, I can set this one as the latest, and you can also remove anything. So we're giving you a little flexibility in your workflows there. If I go back now, I can see that this one was not marked latest. So maybe now I want to go in here and I'm going to say, yes, we are proceeding with this. So I'm setting this one as the latest. I want to go ahead and say that this one can be used. So when your GC comes in here, or your consultant or your owner, this is where everyone now has this source of truth. You're kind of taking away those excuses, for lack of a better word, that they don't have access to the latest information or there wasn't anything clearly communicated to them. Everyone now has the latest information and they know exactly where to find it. You can do the same thing for RFIs. Of course, if you're adding a new set there, a lot of different functionality across all of our different document types in Part 3, because it's not just instructions that change things. A lot of drawing revisions can come from different places. But the whole concept here is that we are doing this automatically for you. You go about your day, do your thing, issue your instructions, respond to RFIs, and this whole drawing set is being uploaded and updated for you at all times. You'll always see your versions here. So if I scroll down, I can see this one has 2 files, and I can get to see all of the different versions that I've also gone through. So same thing applies for all of your different disciplines, and you can obviously have as many as you want, and you just keep adding them. If you now have a new set of drawings, you can go and import new drawings. So it doesn't stop. If you have a project that's already going on in Part 3, just tell us where you're at, upload that latest set, we'll pick up where you left off. And if you're just starting a project in Part 3, this is the perfect time to get ProjectFiles set up and live for you so that you can hit the ground running with this new feature. So Of course, what's next? ProjectFiles is live. We are never going to stop adding functionality to this feature. As with everything with Part 3, if you're a current customer, you know that we are always enhancing things and we're always looking for different areas that need to go that next level. And this is definitely the case with ProjectFiles. We are doing the same thing, versioning for specifications. We know that drawings aren't the only area where things are versioned. It doesn't happen as often for specs, but it's very critical that everyone has access to that latest information. So we're eliminating all those manual tasks that you need to do, and we're letting AI do that work for you. We're always looking for different ways that AI can enhance things. And as I mentioned, this is just the foundation before. Biggest takeaway from this is that ProjectFiles is more than organization. This is going to be the flow that allows us to have that AI driven submittal and RFI review that will really transform your workflows. Of course, everyone still needs to review things, but we are giving you that head start. We are answering these questions for you. And if an RFI is not in fact an RFI, maybe we can eliminate that altogether before it even gets to that stage. So we have a lot of plans on how we can help you use your project data alongside your drawings and your specs to quickly review things and make you way more efficient, protecting that ROI and obviously making your projects more successful. So this is just the beginning. I want to hopefully see how everyone will use this in their own workflows. If you want to learn more about this, feel free to use this QR code to schedule a demo, but you know where you can reach us. If you're a current Part 3 customer, if not, you can book a demo or reach out at hello@part3.io. So thanks again, everyone, for taking the time to join. I hope you're as excited about this feature as we are, and we can't wait to get it in your hands. Have a great day.